Tonight, thousands descending on Michigan's Capitol in Lansing to protest the governor's current stay-at-home rules. Blocking traffic, honking their horns to protest some of the strictest rules in the country. Rules which include bans on all gatherings outside a single household, travel to in-state vacation homes, and the use of motorboats. Also, dramatic reductions in capacity for stores big and small. Out front now, the Democratic governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. And Governor, I appreciate your time. So obviously there are critics who say your order goes too far. They say it's unconstitutional and that it's hurt too many businesses. Why do you think the measures are needed?
Well, let's just look at the fact that Michigan right now has the third highest most number of people that have died from COVID-19. And we are not the third biggest state in the nation. The fact of the matter is we have a unique challenge here in Michigan, and it requires a unique solution. We have to be really aggressive. Our hospitals were at capacity very early on. We know that COVID-19's been here longer than it was ever detected. And so we've got to be really aggressive here in order to save lives.
So here's what one woman who attended the protest, she says she works in healthcare. Here's what she had to say, Governor.
I truly believe that restrictions should have been put on the people that are sick, that are coming down with the illness. I truly believe that there are some people that are at a higher risk than others. Us people that are at a lower risk, I feel like we should have continued out our lives and continued working.
So what's your response when you hear that?
Well, the fact of the matter is COVID-19 is a virus that is novel. There's no cure, there's no vaccine. It's incredibly contagious and it's deadly. And the worst part is that you can carry it for a week without even showing a symptom. Some people are completely asymptomatic. And what is, could manifest in, a fever or some sore muscles for one person in a household could be deadly for another. And that's precisely why everyone needs to do their part. This virus has been spreading by people who didn't even know they had it. Every time you touch that gas pump, think about the fact that COVID-19 stays active for 72 hours, our doctors are telling us. That's 3 days worth of people touching that same gas pump. One sick person touches it, and a nurse who's going to her shift touches it, and a food worker who's going to the store to stock the shelves touches it. You've just taken out people who are part of the life-sustaining work that needs to be done in a global pandemic. And so everyone's got to do their part.
So we have video today, Governor Whitmer, from outside the Capitol during the protest. You can see people standing together on the steps, people talking. Now, I want to make it clear, most people were in their cars, but there's a lot of people standing around, some of them not wearing masks. Jeff Zeleny was there, our reporter covering the protest. He said he saw a lot of people not social distancing. He said dozens upon dozens as he was there. Do you think that the protest put people at risk today?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can give you one clear example of how that is. It was a car protest and they were backed up to in front of a hospital. There was an ambulance that could not get into the bay for 10 minutes. They absolutely impacted people's lives today and threatened people's lives. And we'll never know the precise number of COVID-19 cases that come as a result of this gathering, but we know that there will be some. There are definitely people that are asymptomatic, functioning in society that continue to spread the disease. We're seeing continuous positive tests, and it's precisely events like this that contribute to how long we're going to have to be under the stay-home order that they were protesting.
So, Governor, President Trump said tonight it's up to governors to be responsible for testing. He said he could take strong action against them if he didn't like the job you're doing, that he could do that. And he also, back and forth over the past couple of days, he's been sort of saying he has the power to do whatever he wants. You, the governors, don't. He backed off that yesterday. But today, again, when it came to who's in charge, you, the governors, or him, he said him. Here he is.
We have the right to do whatever we want, but we wouldn't do that. But no, we would have the right to close down what they're doing if we want to do that. But we don't want to do that. And I don't think there'll be any reason to do that, but we have the right to do that.
Does he have the right to do that? I mean, he didn't 2 days ago. You surprised? He's now saying again he has the right to tell you what to do?
Listen, my responsibilities and duties and tools at my disposal as governor don't depend on one interpretation one night and another night. The fact of the matter is, you've seen governors across our country on both sides of the aisle take action necessary to protect the people in our states. We will do the same when it is time to re-engage sectors of our economy. Our powers are inherent in our offices, and it's not something that's debatable or it's opinion. It's just a fact. And what we all need to remember is that we are not one another's enemy. The enemy is COVID-19. We all got to be on the same page to beat this enemy. And that's precisely what our focus is on as governors across the country.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Giving all praises to the Most High and his son Mashiach Yahushai. Yeah, man. Sedition among men is growing. You know, Satan's kingdom is divided. Esau is becoming enraged. And guess who he's going to eventually direct that rage towards? Towards you Jakes, right? Sedition. The definition of sedition. Sedition is a noun and is defined as conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch, right? We see that happening right now. People are tired of being locked down, okay, locked in the houses, right? While 5G towers are being put up, while farmers are putting to death and euthanizing chickens and cows and plowing over vegetables that could be plucked up and eaten, all because the food supply chain is now bottlenecked because of this whole COVID-19. People are sick of it, right? People are tired of it. They're bucking up against the government. We'll hit a couple scriptures here. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10, verses 1 through 2. Isaiah 10, 1 through 2. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has made it illegal to purchase seeds. So if you wanted to plant a garden for food for your family, you would be breaking the law in purchasing seeds for your own garden, in your own background, in your own backyard, right? Draconian laws. These are draconian laws. Draconian laws are going to cause Esau to rise up, right? Satan's kingdom is divided, man. We know that Esau, Edom is the living embodiment of Satan, of Satan's children, and they're divided, right? So it's definitely about to go down. It's getting heated up in Michigan. Let's get 2 Ezra 15, 16 through 17. 2 Ezra 15, 16 through 17. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So Michigan and other states in Babylon are enacting restrictive laws that will cause people to rebel, namely Esau. Again, Esau is not afraid to use his blessing. And what's his blessing? The sword. He was blessed with the sword, and he's not afraid to buck up against the system and to bust his gun and to use his blessing, right? Esau don't have the same curses on him like Jacob does. Jacob got the curse of the cowardly spirit, of the cowardly lion. Let me get that real quick. Let's get Leviticus 26, 36 through 37. Leviticus 26, 36 through 37. And upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts in the land of their enemies. And the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them. And they shall flee as fleeing from a sword. And they shall fall when none pursueth. And they shall fall one upon another as it were before a sword when none pursueth. And ye shall have no power to stand before your enemies. Right? So not being able to fight for yourself, but rather having a cowardly spirit, That's a curse of Jacob, not Esau. Esau would draw the sword on perceived enemies, no problem. Okay? Esau pulled that sword out in a heartbeat, right? Jake's going to draw the sword on his own brother, right? That's what he pulled the sword out on, his own people, right? Not against the oppressor, okay? Let me get that real quick. Again, these curses still affecting our people. Deuteronomy 28. Let's get our verse 50. Where we at? 54. So the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Right? So the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother. Okay, so Jacob busts his guns at his own brother. Meanwhile, the enemy is getting ready to come after Jacob like a flood, man. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Big time. It's about to seriously go down. We still underneath these curses, and 2/3 of our people are not turning back to the Most High. So 2/3 of our people is going to be put to the sword, man. They're going to get that punishment. This thing is about to turn upside down, man. All that anger they got built up. Yo, it's coming for Jacob. Let me get that real quick. Let me get Leviticus 26, verse 25. All right, I'm not going to be before you long, Israel. Just a few scriptures here. Leviticus 26 and 25. And I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. All right, we quarreled against the Most High's covenant. We fought against it. Fought against the culture that he gave us, the blessing that he gave us, the laws and statutes that he gave us, right? Which is our wisdom and understanding. We fought against his wisdom, his understanding to be stupid, sottish children. And I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, most of Jake is in cities, I will send the pestilence among you, COVID-19 hitting us, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy, right? So the curses are still in effect, right? The Most High is sending pestilence amongst our people who will not repent. So COVID-19 started out as being a quote unquote Chinese disease, right? Then it spread over into Europe. So it was a European disease, right? And now it's a so-called black disease, a so-called Hispanic disease, right? When that Edomite woman was saying in the beginning of that video, when she says quarantine the sick only, she means you, Jacob. She said at the beginning of that video that there's people that have a higher likelihood of catching it. So you quarantine those people. She talking about you, Jacob, right? They're tired of being shut down from their businesses, not being able to run their businesses, not being able to go to work, make their money, keep their house, keep their northern log houses and cottages, upstate Michigan, right? That Edomite woman was talking about Jacob. So Esau will be enraged with you, Jacob, right? He will rebel against his leaders. And then the Almighty, the Almighty, he's going to deliver you into Esau's hands. Most High is going to deliver you 2/3 into Esau's hands. You wicked 2/3. Right? Let's get that real quick. Let's get Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 4 through 7. Jeremiah 34 through 7. And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. Thus saith the Most High, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Right? Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child, Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Jacob's trouble is on the way. Jacob's trouble is on the horizon, right? And the only way to be saved out of it, to be delivered out of it, is by coming back to the Most High in truth and sincerity, right? His commandments. 2/3 of our people will be put to death because they will not turn back. Okay? That's what's going to happen to them. Let's get Luke, because the Most High has the power to save, right? Let's get Luke chapter 21, verse 8 through 19. Luke 21, 8 through 19. And he said, right, this is Yahushua speaking, and he said, take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, or I am Hamashiach, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified. For these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. All right, so we're hearing about this stuff right now. The end is not by and by, but the end is it's damn near here. It's on the horizon. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. There was an earthquake in, was it Utah a couple months back? Utah, right? And famines and pestilences and fearful sights and great signs shall be there, shall there be from heaven, Salaki. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you. All right. You don't want to take the vaccination. Right. They're going to lay their hands on you. They're going to persecute you. You don't want to take the chip. They're going to lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what ye shall answer, for I will give you a mouth of wisdom. Shalaki, I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinfolk and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not a hair of your head perish. Right? You know, look, he already said, hey, he just said, some of you they shall cause to put to death. But then verse 18, he says, but there shall not a hair of your head perish. How's that? Well, I mean, you get put to death. Hey, man, you dying for this truth. You dying for this work. There's no greater honor. Right? You get in the kingdom. Okay, you're not perishing. You entering into life, right? Verse 19, in your patience possess ye your souls, right? So tribulations are coming, right? But the master is making intercession on our behalf and for our deliverance, okay? Right? And those that put their hands on you, brothers, right? Those that put their hands on you, sisters, right? You righteous sisters out there. Hey, man, they got a price to pay. They got a price to pay. Okay, this thing is almost over with. Let's get a couple more scriptures and we'll wrap it up here. Let's go to Revelation 12, 12 through 17. Revelation 12, 12 through 17. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. That's why these draconian laws are being enacted right now, right? The devil knows he has a short time. He got to get this thing going right now. They got to use this COVID-19 to their advantage. They can't let this disaster, this plague pass them by. They got to use this as an opportunity to implement what they're trying to implement, right? Short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child, Israel, brought forth from Mashiach. And the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth, right? Those troops. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testament of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, right? So the serpent, the devil, Esau, the deceiver, right? Or the devil incarnate, he will come for Jacob, right? 2/3 are going to be destroyed, right? While the elect are delivered. So armies, militias, hate groups, neo-Nazis, etc., you name it. These are going to be the armies that encompass us, right? These are going to be the armies that come at us like a flood. Okay? But don't worry. Let's go to Isaiah. Last scripture here. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59:18. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay. Fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. To the islands he will repay recompense, right? So shall they fear the name of the Most High, or Yahweh, from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Most High shall lift up a standard against him. So deliverance at the time we will need it most, right? When the enemy shall come in like a flood, we just read Revelations, that serpent opened his mouth and the flood comes at us. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Most High shall lift up a standard against him. What's going to be that standard? The spiritual power that he gives his elect. The spiritual power that he gives his men to combat the enemy and to hold it down until Mashiach returns, right? That power is coming. It's on its way. And the enemy is shaking in their boots for it. So deliverance is on its way, Israel. Hang on. Keep the faith of Mashiach. Keep these commandments to the best of your ability. We almost about out of here. Shalom.